Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I think in the last lecture, in the last tutorial, we have discussed the MCQs on the first note, right? And we have revised some important points from the Fourier transform, right? So, shall we continue with our regular topic for the lecture? If you want to repeat, revise any topic, please let me know. Any one of you, what do you think? Or you can write in the chat box also. If you want me to repeat any topic, any point from the discussed topic, I'll repeat. Or else we will continue with our ongoing topic for the lecture. Hello. कोई है जो कोई बोल सकता है? No one. सब लोग सो रहे हैं. Continue.
कंटिन्यू कर दो.
With the inverse transform. Jay.
What, sir?
Continue with the inverse transform or the previous topic.
No, sir, inverse the transform. You gave us the example, then after that you should continue.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you, Jay. This is for the confirmation. I hope everyone have solved the question I've given. I request everyone to write in the chat box the answer, inverse Z transform of the given 1 upon Z minus 3 into Z minus 2. Everyone, drop your answer in chat box so that I can save the chat box and I can give the marks accordingly. There are 42 people in the meeting. Yes, Sakshi Salonke.
Yes,
What's
sir.
your answer?
Sir, मैं absent हूँ transcript से.
Absent. Okay. Jay, what
Sir,
about you?
question बताओ ना एक बार.
Question is find the inverse Z transform of 1 upon Z minus 3 into Z minus 2. Both the factors are in the denominator 1 upon Z minus 3 into Z minus 2. In the region of convergence, 2 is less than mod Z is less than 3.
Okay, sir, just a minute.
Or if you want me to solve this, please let me know. I can solve this. If anybody have not tried, then but please let me know. Very good, Meenakshi. Let me check your answer. Minus 1 by 3 raised to minus k plus 1. Okay, for k is less than or equal to 0 and it is 2 raised to k minus 1 for k greater than or equal to 1. Very good, Meenakshi. That's perfect.
So लास्ट में 2 रेस टू k minus 1 है, 2 रेस टू k आएगा.
2 raised to k minus 1. That is right. Jay, I think you are getting confused with the terms, right? Because in the last lecture also, you have got the different coefficient, right? Which is of the form 2 raised to k or something
I
a
got the
raised to k.
correct answer for the first expansion, but I think I did something wrong with the second.
Yes. You know what you are doing actually? You just count the terms from the beginning. If it is if 2 is not there, then you can consider it from 2 raised to 0. So k starts from 0 to remember. Accordingly, you'll get that. If 2 is there, then k will start from 1. Like this. But remember, you should get every coefficient, each and every coefficient for that particular k. Only Meenakshi and Jay have solved.
सर वो तो वन एंड द सेम थिंग ही हो जाएगा ना, लाइक 2 to the power k लेके हम k is greater than or equals to 0 लेंगे तो सेम टर्म मिलता है.
हाँ, that is right. That is okay then, no problem.
हाँ सर, आई गॉट द
हाँ,
सेम
आपने
आंसर.
k का कंडीशन नहीं बताया ना मुझे. आपने लिखा ही नहीं है
हाँ,
एक्चुअली इनफैक्ट आंसर
वो पूरा आंसर
चैट बॉक्स
कैसा है, लाइक -1/3 into 1/3 is to minus k minus 1 in which k is less than 0 and
में.
minus
Strictly
2
less
to the
than.
power k.
Strictly less
हाँ
than.
हाँ. And
Then
in the
for
second term it is -2 to the power k and condition is k is greater than or equals to 0.
right, that is okay then, no problem. See, even she have written the answer in terms of k minus 1 or k plus 1. Na? You can write in terms of k. Even you can write in terms of k minus 2 also. Isn't it? Accordingly, the restriction on k will change. So it doesn't matter what the answer is. It matters whether you are getting each and every coefficient or not. Is it clear, Jay?
Yes sir.
So only Jay and Meenakshi have solved. No one else.
Yes, indeed.
Sakshi, you
हो
are
गया
trying, I think.
हो गया
Oh yeah, same one. Answer?
Yes.
इतनी जल्दी? आप तो एब्सेंट थी. आपने चेक किया क्या? मतलब
हाँ
आपने
सर,
प्रिपेयर
पर
किया
मैंने फ्रेंड को पूछा था कि क्या करूँ अब.
था? ओके, गुड. बाकी लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं? आर्या, अभिजीत, अभिमन्यु. अभिमन्यु तो बहुत दिनों के बाद दिखाई दे रहा है मुझे. राइट? आदित्य देशमुख. There are two Adityas, right? दोनों में से कोई भी रिप्लाई करना ये नहीं समझता, इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं समझता. अक्षदा, अमर, no one cares. Anyways, it will affect definitely.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you please upload the lectures? Actually, the files are not attached to in the Google Classroom.
Yeah, I'll do it today.
Okay, sir.
Anshu, do you have any doubt? Have you attended the last lecture?
No, sir, the last 4 lectures were not there, so I couldn't attend it.
Why?
Sir, I see the recorded lectures, so
Huh.
they weren't. So,
Okay. Krishna? Mustafa? Mustafa,
Yes, sir.
have you tried?
Yes, sir. I'm trying.
You are trying now. Very good. चलो मैं एक बार इसको सॉल्व कर देता हूँ. जिसको प्रॉब्लम होगा वो देख ले. Okay, you can ask when I'm discussing. If you have any doubt, मैं सेम प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस करूँ या डिफरेंट? मैं डिफरेंट प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस करता हूँ. ओके, तो जिसने सॉल्व भी किया है उसको थोड़ा डिफरेंट भी हो जाएगा. चलेगा? Will it be okay? Or the same one? Yes, tell me at least this. Please don't waste time. Different. Thanks, Saurabh. So write down. Show that. Okay, write the complete question. This was asked in May 2019 for 4 marks. Show that z inverse of 1 upon z minus 2 into z minus 3 equals to xk, sequence xk for mod z greater than half, where xk equals to 6 into half raised to k minus 1 minus 1 by 3 raised to k minus 1. Where k varies from 1 to infinity, k greater than or equal to 1. This is k. Okay, so here answer is also given. You just need to show. Is the question clear to everyone? Say yes if it is clear. Everyone? Okay.
सर वहाँ पर
हाँ, yes.
फैक्टर्स भी 1/2 एंड 1/3 आएंगे ना?
Yes, 1 by 2 and 1 by 3. Yes, yes. That must be 1 by 2 and 1 by 3. It's a printing mistake. चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं. क्या करना है पहले कोई बता सकता है? एनीवेज मैं ही बता देता हूँ. आप लोगों का रिप्लाई का वेट करते करते मुझे नींद आई. Mod z is greater than half. So is it greater than 1 by 3? Is mod z greater than 1 by 3?
Yes.
Yes. So it is indirectly given that mod z is greater than 1 by 3 also. ठीक है. So दोनों के लिए ये ROC वर्क करेगा. So for mod z greater than half, what we do? We write the first factor. First of all, what we do? We split both the factors by partial fraction. So let us do that first. So here f of z is given to be, actually this notepad is not working properly. F of z is given to be 1 by z minus half Just separate these two factors by partial fraction and tell me what are the values of a and b. Yes. What is a? Actually, this is a upon a z minus half. Problems. Z minus half plus b upon z minus 1 by 3.
1 minus 6.
So a is 6 and minus 6, right? B is minus 6. So 6 into 1 upon z minus half minus 1 upon z minus 1 by 3. I hope everyone is familiar with the partial fraction, okay? If anybody is there who don't know about the partial fraction, please let me know. I can repeat.
Yes, sir. Please repeat.
Okay. So what we do for the partial fraction, we cross multiply these two factors here. Right? We cross multiply. And then we multiply both sides by LCM. So what we get here for the partial fraction, it is 1 upon the two factors is equals to a into z minus 1 by 3 plus b into z minus 1 by 3 upon z minus half into z minus 1 by 3. Right? So I can cancel this denominator from both the sides. So what I get? I get the equation in a and b. So to find the value of a, so first of all I'm writing the equation. What is the equation? 1 is equal to a into z minus 1 by 3 plus b into z minus, oh, here it must be 2, no? Z minus half. So to get the value of a, I want the second term to be 0. So if I equate the second term to be 0, what will be the value of z? Z will be half, right? So for z is equal to half, I'm getting the value of a. What is that? 1 is equals to a into
1 by 6.
a into 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3. Actually, this notepad is not working properly. Minus 1 by 3. So that is equals, that implies 1 by 6. So a into 1 by 6. So if I multiply both sides by 6, I'll get a to be 6. Is it okay? 1 by 6. I think Mustafa have asked, no? Right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So is this clear? The value of a? Now how do I get the value of b? By making this coefficient of a to be 0. So when the coefficient of a will be 0, if z is equals to 1 by 3, right? So for z is equal to 1 by 3, 1 is equals to b into, because here 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 will be 0, isn't it? When I substitute z is equal to 1 by 3. So that is why the first term is getting 0. 1 by 3 minus 1 by 2. So by cross multiplying here, I'll get b equals to minus 6. I hope this is clear now. So we substitute both the values here into this, here a and b, and I've written 6 outside. Is it clear now? Partial fraction. The use of partial fraction is to separate the denominator or the factors in the denominator. Why we have separated? Because we know the separate formula for this term. For this term, the separate inverse Z transform. For this term, we know the inverse Z transform, direct formula we have 1 upon Z minus A or 1 upon Z minus B. Clear? That is why we have said. So therefore, I'm having f of z to be this. So apply the inverse Z transform. Therefore, inverse Z transform of f of z is equals to 6 into, because inverse Z transform is linear, 6 into inverse Z transform of 1 upon Z minus half minus 6 into inverse Z transform of 1 upon Z minus 1 by 3. So now here I want to use the method of power series. So for the method of power series, I have to write this in terms of series, this in terms of series, and then I'll get the coefficient. Okay? So for the first one, I'll use the ROC mod Z less than or equal to half, right? And that is given to us. But for the second one, ROC is not directly given, it is indirectly given. I can directly write mod Z is less than, strictly less than 1 by 3. Equality will not be there. Sorry, it is greater, na?
Greater
It is
than.
greater, I'm sorry. It is greater. So as mod Z is greater than strictly given here, so ultimately it will be greater than here also. Right? So for the first, how do I expand it? Since mod Z is greater than half, I'll have to write less than 1. So what I will have to do? I'll have to divide by mod Z on both sides, right? For this one, I'll have to divide mod Z on both sides. And here also, I'll have to divide mod Z on both sides. So what I'll get here? 1 is greater than or equal to 1 upon, yes, I can write, yes, I can write like this, na? And from this, 1 is greater than, equality will not be there. 1 is greater than 1 by mod of 1 by 3z. ये बात clear है सबको? Is this clear? How am I writing? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So here I'm getting mod of 1 by 2z is less than 1, and here mod of 1 by 3z is less than 1. So I'll write this term in terms of 1 by 2z and this term in terms of 1 by 3z. So write accordingly and expand them. So therefore, inverse Z transform of f of z is equals to 6 into inverse Z transform of, how do I write? So I'll have to take Z common, na? From this 1 by Z into 1 upon 1 minus 1 by 2z. And here minus 6 inverse Z transform of curly bracket is complete here. Again Z common, so 1 by Z into 1 upon 1 minus 1 by 3z. Is this point clear to everyone? ये यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Let me check the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Everyone please do reply. ये सब मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ सिर्फ आप लोगों के लिए. So at least you can reply simply yes or no. ठीक है. Now we can expand. So what is the expansion of this? Separately I'm writing here. This will be 1 by z into okay, I'm writing completely, otherwise you may confused. So here inverse z transform of f of z will be f of k, right? So I'm writing directly f of k equals to six into inverse z transform of first expansion 1 upon z into क्या होगा बताओ expansion 1 plus 1 upon 2z, this is 2 plus 1 upon 2z square, that is 2 square z square, plus 1 upon 2z cube, that is 2 cube z cube, plus and so on. माइनस आप लोग भी बता सकते हो मुझे, ओके, आप लोग भी मेरे साथ चल सकते हो. 1 by z into 1 plus 1 by 3z plus 1 by 3 square z square. Please correct me if I'm wrong. 1 by 3 cube z cube plus and so on. Now multiply by 1 by z inside. So that is equals to 6 into inverse z transform of 1 by z plus 1 by 2z square plus 1 by 2 cube, 2 square z cube plus and so on. These terms will be sufficient to case the coefficient. Minus 6 into inverse z transform of 1 by z plus 1 by 3 into z square plus 1 by 3 square to z cube plus and so on. Right? Now here we can see all the powers of coefficient, all the powers of z are negative, right? So here we consider the coefficient of what? Z raised to plus k or minus k? क्या होगा? कोई बता सकता है? Z raised to minus k, because all the powers of z are negative. So we don't need to convert even k by minus k also. Already k is negative. Right? So therefore I'm directly writing the required inverse z transform from the first one. What is the coefficient of z raised to minus k? This is, here we have z raised to 1, z raised to 2, z raised to 3. So k must be starts from 1. बता सकता है यहाँ what is the power of 2 here? 2 raised to 0, right? 2 raised to 0. I'm writing in red. 2 raised to 0. And here
minus 1.
3 raised to 0. Yes, बताओ. What is the coefficient of 2 z raised to minus k? 1 upon 2 raised to
K minus 1.
2 to the power k minus 1. अगर आप सब लोग एग्री हो तो will it be okay? Is it k minus 1? But for that, k must be vary from 1 to infinity, right? 1 to infinity. Because when I substitute k is equal to 1 there, I should get 2 raised to 0. Am I getting? Yes. Because 1 minus 1 would be 0. Now for k equal to 2, am I getting 1 by 2? Yes. Okay, so each coefficient I'm getting here by varying this k. So this is very important. Minus 6 into 1 upon same, na? 3 raised to k minus 1. So is that the same answer we have given? Please check.
Yes, sir.
I can rewrite this as a 6 into 1 upon 2 raised to k minus 1 minus 1 upon 3 raised to k minus 1. And for both of these, k varies from greater than or equal. K varies from 1 to infinity. Is this clear now? Very slowly I have explained. Everyone, if you are agree, if you are satisfied with the solution, please reply in the chat box. Your valuable suggestions and replies are very important for me. Okay. So I'm waiting. अगर कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लो प्लीज, so that we can proceed with the next method. Any doubt, any question? ये एक्चुअली ऐसे चाहिए ना. Any question?
No, sir.
Partial fraction method. So the first method we have discussed in detail is about the power series method. What we are doing, we are writing the given f of z in terms of infinite series of infinite terms actually. So the second method is partial fraction method. As we all know, and even I've discussed the partial fraction in the last question also. To apply this method, it is necessary that, can you tell me the necessary condition to apply the partial fraction? Yes, anybody there who know the necessary condition? Or can we apply the partial fraction all the time? तब तक मैं थोड़ा सा ड्राइंग कर लेता हूँ. Yes. No one knows. Very good.
Denominator में factor से कहते
Denominator, not necessary actually. If the denominators are not in its factored form, we can make it. Okay, so that is the condition. That is not necessary actually.
So the
If it
power
is
of denominator should be greater.
power of denominator should be greater, exactly. So that is the necessary condition. That is, degree of numerator must be greater or less. He says the power of denominator must be greater. Anybody want to add? That is, he's right. The power of numerator must be less than the degree of or the power of denominator. That is, power of denominator must be greater than. So I'm writing in short here. Degree of numerator must be less than degree of denominator. Will it be okay? Equality is not there, remember. Strictly less than. अगर equality भी है, तो can we convert it into strictly less? If the degree of numerator is not less than degree of denominator, so can we make it less? And how? If yes. Hello, hello, mic check. है कोई जो बता सके? Have you heard about the actual division of polynomials? So if the degree of numerator is not less than degree of denominator, what we do? We divide actually the polynomials. If the numerator and denominator are polynomial, then we can directly. If the numerator and denominators are not polynomial, then we cannot apply the actual division. Even we can apply, but that will be difficult. So whenever it is asked, here in Z transform, the numerator and denominator must be polynomial first of all, and the degree of numerator must be less than degree of denominator. If it is not less, then we actually divide numerator by denominator with the help of actual division, and then we write the numerators in terms of denominator using the formula, right? So that is what the necessary condition we can say for to use the partial fraction. So here, if we specifically ask using the partial fraction, apply the find the inverse Z transform using the partial fraction, then we need to apply the partial fraction to fz upon z. So this is a note here. Note I'm writing. Apply the partial fraction to f of z upon z. Apply the partial fraction to f of z upon z. Okay, normally we even in the last question also we have applied the partial fraction to fz only. You can see here. Okay, because it is not asked using the partial fraction, so that is our choice. But if it's specifically asked, find the inverse Z transform, then we have to apply the partial fraction to fz upon z. You'll come to know why. So let us discuss this method directly using the question. I'm not going to discuss too many questions on this because already we have discussed the process of finding the inverse Z transform in the first case in detail. So the similar things. So here I'll discuss only one example. Find the inverse Z transform. Z inverse of 1 upon Z minus 1, Z minus 2, suppose. Z minus 1 into Z minus 2, which is already in factored form. Okay. If ROC is mod Z greater than or equal to 2. Okay. So to apply the partial fraction, let us follow the note I have given. What the note says, right? Fz upon z. What is Fz given? Fz is 1 upon z minus 1. Actually, it is not 1, it is z upon z minus 1 into z minus 2. So when I divide both sides by z, because we want to apply the partial fraction. So what is Fz by z? One upon z minus 1 into z minus 2. I request everyone to apply the partial fraction and tell me the values of a and b.
A equals to -1 and B equals to 1.
Exactly. Provided that the denominators are this, I have written. So is a minus 1 or b minus 1?
A -1.
A is minus 1. Okay. And b is 1. So I'm writing like this, that, okay, this is plus here. So I'm writing like this, b is 1, so that term I'm writing first, z minus 2 minus 1 upon z minus 1. Okay, as a is minus 1. So apply the inverse Z transforms on both sides now. What we do, we first of all multiply both sides by Z. So we can write Fz is equals to Z upon Z minus 2 minus Z upon Z minus 1. Okay? So we have given the region of convergence mod Z is greater than or equal to 2. So can I write it as a greater than 1?
Yes.
Yes, because 2 is greater than 1. So mod of Z is greater than 1 also. So it can be applicable to the second term also. It is already applicable to this first. So as we all know that for mod Z greater than mod A, the inverse Z transform of this kind of function Z upon Z minus A is, if you
A
remember,
raised to K. A raised to K.
it is A raised to K, right? And what is the condition on K?
K
I'm
is
writing the
greater
formula
than
here.
or equal.
Just a minute. I'm writing the formula here. Inverse Z transform. Let me write the formula in different color. I'm writing here. Formula. Is this color visible? Inverse Z transform of 1 upon, I hope this is visible, okay? Because it is faint, right? Z upon Z minus A. The formula is
A raised to K.
A to the power K. For K,
Greater than or equal to 0.
K greater than or equal to 0. Positive. So this formula we can apply to both of these, because mod Z, actually mod Z is greater than mod, that must be greater than mod A also, right? This is also important condition, ROC. So this is given to us, and accordingly we are writing. If mod Z is less than 1, then that will be, I think, minus A raised to K, na? For K less than 0, right? So we apply this formula to both of these. So therefore f of k means what? Inverse Z transform. Inverse Z transform of f of z is f of k, function of k, and that is equals to inverse Z transform of z upon z minus a minus inverse Z transform of z upon z minus 1. This must be 2 here. So that is equals to what?
2 raised to
It will
k
be
minus 1.
2 k minus 1 raised to k. 1 raised to k is k only. Sorry, 1 only. So for k greater than or equal to, that is the required answer. Right? Is this clear? Any doubt? Any question? So we have noted all these formulas. I think equality should not be there, right? K strictly greater than 0, no? Just check this one. So 2 raised to k minus 1 is the required inverse Z transform. Any doubt, any question? Everyone please do reply. Any question?
Yes, sir.
In chat box at least. सबको क्लियर है? किसी को कुछ भी डाउट नहीं है? Because only Krishna and Salunki have Sakshi have replied. Right?
सर आपने a to the power k के लिए कंडीशन शायद k is greater than or equals to 0 ही बताई थी पहले.
इक्वालिटी बताइए वहां.
हाँ सर.
ओके. हम रिवर्सली भी चेक कर सकते हैं इसको. अगर हम बिकॉज एज इट इज गिवन टू बी, शायद यहाँ इक्वालिटी की वजह से ये, लेकिन उसका इफेक्ट नहीं होगा. Anyways, if mod z is greater than 2, mod of 2 by z is less than 1, right? So we try to write this in terms of 2 by z, and then based on the coefficient we will get the condition on k. आप एक बार चेक कर लो. जय, आप समझ गए मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? जय, हेलो.
Yes sir.
हाँ, just expand this with the help of power series. Okay, actually basically हम यहाँ power series यूज कर रहे हैं. इसके आगे हम power series यूज कर सकते हैं with the help of this. ठीक है? So just expand these two, and from the coefficient of z raised to minus k, you will get the condition on k, whether 0 included or excluded.
Okay sir.
Okay. चलो, कोई रिप्लाई नहीं कर रहा है, इसलिए मैं आपको एक क्वेश्चन और दे रहा हूँ, एंड आई एम वेटिंग फॉर यू for your replies, answers. Accordingly, I'll give the marks for this tutorial. Z minus 1 by 4 into Z minus 1 by 5. And ROC is given to be mod Z greater than 1 by 4. Chalo, everyone should try this and tell me the answer. Write your answers in chat box. It's 11:09 now. I'm giving you 3 minutes. It's very easy. Just separate the two factors. First of all, apply the partial fraction to fz upon z. So write fz upon z and then separate the two factors. Then multiply by z to both sides and then use ROC to write direct inverse Z transform. Three minutes. Akshat, Devendra, you have not written the conditions on K. What is condition, Akshat?
K is greater than or equal to
The case greater than or equal to 0.
So K is greater than or equal to 0. That is right. And almost everyone have given the same answer. Correct answer. Very good. The third method now, find the inverse head transform. So ultimately, in partial fraction is nothing but the power series method only, right? We are expanding f of z in terms of powers of z, and we are just checking whether the coefficient of z raised to plus k or minus k is there, and accordingly we are considering the required f of. So the third method is inversion integral method. Inversion integral method. It's very important and interesting also. I've already told you that we are going to discuss about this method in detail in the last unit also, in complex analysis. So before the direct discussion on inverse integral method, let us have some preliminaries required to discuss about inversion integral method. The preliminaries are singular points, poles and residues. Point, poles and residues. Actually this board is not working properly. Residues. So let us understand what is singular point first of all. We note that the point z0 where the function fz ceases to be analytic is called the singular point. Okay? Suppose if we have defined a function f of z to be a simple function, say z 1 upon z minus 1. Actually, the two. First of all, tell me, is this function defined everywhere in the whole complex plane? Defined means it should have some finite quantity. Hello? Is this function defined everywhere? Am I audible?
At z is equal to 1, it will be not defined.
Exactly. For z is equal to 1, this function is having the infinite value, so that is not defined actually. Okay, and even if we check the derivative is also not defined at z equal to 1. Right? What is the derivative of this function? Minus 1 by z minus 1 the whole square, right? That is again not defined at z equal to 1. So Further, all derivatives will not define because function itself is not or infinite. Okay? We want some finite converging value so that its series, infinite series, will be convergent. Okay? So the terminology here comes the terminology analytic function. So if a function is differentiable, then it is analytic. Okay? Differentiability gives analyticity of the function. And when it is differentiable, if it is exist and all its derivatives are exist. Okay? So what the singular point means? A point z equal to z naught where the function fz ceases to be analytic. Ceases means fails to be analytic. Then that point is called singular point. ठीक है, जिस पॉइंट पे फंक्शन एनालिटिक नहीं है उस पॉइंट को बोलते हैं सिंगुलर पॉइंट. So what is the singular point in this case? Here in case of this function, singular point is, hello, what is the singular point here in this case? As you said, z equal to 1 is the point at which this function is not defined, right? So z equal to 1 is a singular point. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So basically, singular point is a point at which the function is not having the finite value. That function may be infinite or that may not be defined itself. Okay? So singular point. There are various types of singularities, singular points. First is removable singularity, then non-removable singularity, essential singularity, or poles. These are the types of singularity. Let me write here types of singularity. First of all, let me write the definition of singular. You can write there, singular point means a point at which function fails to be analytic. Okay? So types of singularities. First is removable singularity. मगर इसका मतलब क्या है? रिमूवेबल मतलब ऐसी सिंगुलरिटी जिसकी होने से फंक्शन को कुछ अफेक्ट नहीं होता. We can remove. For example, if I have defined a function f of z to be sin z upon z, and if I ask to find the limit at z tends to 0, then what the limit is? क्योंकि z equal to 0 पे वैसे तो ये फंक्शन डिफाइन नहीं हो रहा है, आप देख सकते हो. Am I right? It has some undefined value. Hello? है ना?
Yes, sir.
But if we take the limit at z tends to 0, is that exist? Is the limit at z tends to 0 exist here? Hello? In 12th, you might have seen the standard result, limit of sin z upon z. What is that?
1.
Limit exists. That means what? Limit means what? Actually, the value of function in the neighborhood of that point. ठीक है? So at z tends to 0 means जैसे जैसे ये function As z approaching to 0, the value of function is getting close to 1. Like this. Though the function is not defined at z equal to 0, but its limit exists and it is equal to 1. So that is why z equal to 0 is a removable singularity. Is this point clear? Z equal to 0 is a singularity, but that can be removable. That is what the definition of removable singularity. Then second type है essential singularity. मतलब जिसको हम रिमूव नहीं कर सकते. That can be an essential singularity. For example, sine of 1 by z, or instead of sine 1 by z, I'm taking very famous example, e to the power 1 by z. Right? At z equal to 0, this function goes to infinity, na? And e to the power infinity is infinity, isn't it? So z equal to 0 is an essential singularity. Remember. That means what? In the neighborhood of z equal to 0, there are infinitely many points at which this function is not analytic. Is this clear? Hello? Essential means there are infinitely many points in the neighborhood of that point at which the function is not analytic. The meaning of essential singularity. One more type is there, that is pole. Pole is a singularity at which the function is infinite. Okay? A singularity at which the function is infinite, just like here 1 upon z minus 1. So z equal to 1 is a pole, right? Because at z equal to 1, this function is tending to infinity. It is defined, but it tending to infinity. It is not undefined. Are you getting my point? There are two types of pole. One is simple pole, and second is multiple pole. Multiple means double, triple, quadruple, like this. So what is meant by simple pole and what is meant by multiple? Simple pole means a pole of order 1, and multiple pole means a pole of order greater than 1. So what do you think here? Z equal to 0, z equal to 1 is a pole of order 1 or greater than 1? Hello? Anybody there? Very good. Greater than 1. Are you sure? Z equal to 1 is the only factor in the denominator. If it is repeated, then the power or order will be greater than 1. Na? Hello? So here z equal to 1 is the only factor. That is why order of that factor is 1. And therefore it is a simple pole. Is this clear? If it is like this, 1 upon z minus 1 cube into z minus 3, then what can we say now? Z equal to 1 is a pole of order 3, and z equal to 3 is a pole of order 1. It is a simple pole. Okay, so z equal to 3 is a simple pole and z equal to 1 is a pole of order 3. Is this point clear? Hello? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we are interested here in this inverse Z transform. We are interested in only pole. We are not interested in this removable or essential singularity. But that is there in the that is there in the syllabus for the GATE. You should know removable and essential singularities. We'll be discussing in detail in the complex last unit. So let us now proceed with the concept of singularities and a pole to get the required inverse head transform. Just a minute. So I'm directly discussing the method now. Inversion integral method. So we apply the inversion integral method to note. Apply inversion integral method to fz into z raised to k minus 1. This is very important. fz into z raised to k minus 1. ज्यादा नॉइज आ रहा है क्या? हेलो,
नहीं सर, it's okay.
because actually here the first year admission inquiries are there. I need to search another cabin. So what we do, we have given f of z, we multiply the given f of z by z raised to k minus 1, and from this the required value of sequence f of k is nothing but 2 pi I times, 1 upon 2 pi I times 2 pi I times integral fz z raised to k minus 1 dz, and this is actually the closed integral. It is denoted, this is integration and this is a symbol of closed integral. Closed means integration over the closed curve C, closed integral over the closed curve C. Okay, we are not going to actually calculate the integration, but this is the formula for the inverse Z transform. F of k is our inverse Z transform, right? This is our inverse Z transform, required inverse Z transform, and that is equal to this. So what we'll do, we are going to discuss about this integral in the last unit, but here let me tell you the formula of integration. That is equals to 1 upon 2 pi I and this integral is actually, the value of this integral will be 2 pi I into sum of residues. So this 2 pi I will get cancelled, and I'll get the formula, that is f of k inverse z transform f of k equals to sum of residues, simply sum of residues. Now what is this residue? Again the new term, residue. Lecture. एक मिनट adjustment. Okay, sorry. So, what is mean by this residue? तो residue के लिए, see, there are two formulas for the residue. First of all, what is mean by residue? Residue is the rest value. Rest value. So, see, at poles, the function goes to infinity, right? At poles, the function goes to infinity. So, the residues or the rest value when the function goes to infinity is called residue. And how do we calculate the residues? For that we have the two formulas. When I'm writing separately residues. So there are two formulas for the simple pole and for multiple pole. Okay. So first formula is for simple pole. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So for simple pole, the formula for residue is, suppose if z equal to A is a simple pole, simple pole means pole of order 1. Okay. So if z equal to A is a simple pole, then residue at z equal to A is, it's not working, at z equal to A is, let me denote it by R1 or simply R. R is for residue. R is equal to limit at z tends to A z minus A into z raised to z raised to k minus 1 into f of z, जिसका हम इंटीग्रेशन कर रहे हैं ना. इंटीग्रेशन हम किसका कर रहे हैं? अब देख लो, इंटीग्रेंड देख लो, fz into z raised to k minus 1, राइट? तो इसको हम मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे z minus a से, and then the limit of that will be the residue. Is this clear? This is the formula of residue at simple pole. And the second is residue at multiple pole. For multiple pole, If Z equal to A is a multiple pole, say double or triple or quadruple like this and so on, is a pole of order n, whatever, okay, whatever that value of n. In general, I'm writing the formula. If Z equal to A is a pole of order n, then a residue at Z equal to A is, say, R equal to limit at Z tends to A 1 upon n minus 1 factorial n minus 1th derivative n minus 1th derivative of इसका z minus a raised to n fz or just z raised to k minus 1 fz. One upon n minus 1 factorial into n minus 1th derivative of z minus a raised to n z raised to k minus 1 fz. Is this clear? This is the formula to find the residue if z equal to a is a multiple. Is this okay? Is this clear to everyone? Please
Yes, sir.
reply. Okay. Let's have a simple example so that you'll get the idea how to use these formulas. First example.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but it's our break time, sir.
It's 11:45, right? 11:45
Yes, sir.
is the break time. Just give me 2 minutes so that I can explain the concept of these residues and poles with the help of examples. So you can correlate
sir.
immediately. Okay?
Yes.
Find the inverse Z transform of Z inverse of 1 upon, actually this is not working, 1 upon Z minus 2 into Z minus 3. And the question is solved by inversion integral method. It will be specifically mentioned there in the exam also. Solved by inversion integral method. I'm writing it short, IIM. Solved by inversion integral method. So specifically for inversion integral method, ROC is not provided. Region of convergence will not be given. Okay. So if it is given, we can, of course, we can use the inversion integral method. But if it is not given, then also we can use. Okay. So here, what do you think? What are the poles here? What are the poles? This is our FZ, right? I'm not writing in detail now. Tell me the poles. Poles are Z equal to 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Right? Z equal to, and both are simple poles because the order of these poles are 1. Am I right? So what I'll do, I'll first of all consider fz into z raised to k minus 1. Fz into z raised to k minus 1. So what is that? Z raised to k minus 1 upon z minus 2 into z minus 3. Okay? So we find the residue of this function at these two poles. And in both the cases, as they are simple poles, we use the first formula only. So can you tell me the limit or the value of residue immediately? There are two residues. So actually, let me tell you the formula finally. f of k is our required inverse Z transform, and that is equals to simply sum of residues. How many residues will be there? Here, the two residues. So suppose R1 is the first residue and R2 is the second residue. Our required answer will be sum of those two residues. That's it. Itna hi hai. So just calculate the R1 and R2 and add them. That would be your required residue. What is R1? Where R1 is the first residue. R1 is, let me write, limit at Z tends to 2, suppose. Z minus 2 into fz into Z raised to k minus 1. That is Z raised to k minus 1. K minus 1 upon Z minus 2 into Z minus 3. So what the value will be? This will get cancelled, right? Z minus 2, Z minus 2. And what the value of limit? It is 2 raised to k minus 1 upon minus 1, right? So minus 2 raised to k minus 1. That will be your first residue. Is this okay? Is this okay to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the second residue? Can you check? This is here, minus 2 raised to k minus 1. What about second residue? It is, I think it is 3 raised to k minus 1. Please check. 3 raised to k minus 1. So this is your required f of k, minus 2 raised to k minus 1 plus 3 raised to k minus 1, where k varies from 1 to infinity. Every time k will vary from 1 to infinity or strictly greater than 0. And we can consider even the ROC mod Z greater than 3. So if I consider this, automatically it will be greater than 2. It will be applicable to this also. So this is your complete answer. Is this clear to everyone? I'm going to stop here. Thank you. Just drop your roll numbers in chat box so that I can save your attendance. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, sir.